Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game, Rules by Chaosium. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try hard to stick to reasonable languages for all ages, listeners should know that this is a podcast that may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., may bear resemblance to persons living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. All right, welcome back. You've come again to join us, the Old Ways Actual Play podcast, and we are here for yet another show. I have a talented group of players with me tonight, as I do every night. To my right, we'll go start with introductions.
This is Lonnie. I'll be playing Lawrence Edward Oliver Forsyth, who is going to the library.
Lawrence, you're going to the library, a very, very useful thing, especially in an investigative game, usually very helpful, right?
Actually, more like the newspaper office. But
the newspaper office.
And excellent. I have a letter to write.
Wonderful. And to your right?
I'm Heather. I'm going to be playing Anastasia Edwina Fairchild, otherwise known as Stasi to her friends, who she seems to actually have a few these days, which is pretty good because an unnamed person has recently re-entered her life and thrown her current mindset into absolute chaos and fear.
Well, working as intended then. Across the table from me.
This is Jake. I'm playing Jack Doyle, private detective, and I'm just trying to stay alive right now.
Isn't everybody really? I mean, at least I think.
Right.
On the left-hand side of the table?
This is James. I'll be playing Dr. Sigmund Tattenbach, the jolly German center of this group, it seems. He'll be doing what he does most.
You're like a bit of toffee then, eh?
A bit. I'm like nougat. I'm like the German nougat in this crunchy...
Squishy center.
Yeah.
Squishy center.
Wonderful. And then last but most certainly not least.
Tiffany, I am playing Maeve O'Shea, and I'm going home again.
Wait, like...
They say you can't do that.
They were very specific about that.
You're going home...
to my house.
To your house, yes. So we will pick up from our last broadcast as Saturday morning dawns on the investigating crew. As we left off, both Dr. Tattenbach and Stasi were kind of cohabitating momentarily to keep the... perhaps the dangerous folks away. And then later on this evening, Miss O'Shea has another musical gig. So she has something she has to go and do, get to get out and work for her money there. But I'd like to start this session to my right with Mr. Forsyth, who is planning on going to the library.
Well, technically, actually, I'm going to the newspaper offices.
Ah, yes, okay.
Because I'm looking for an obituary.
So you head to the newspaper offices. Are you using the contact information that Miss Stasi gave you?
No, actually I'm not, because I don't have it in my hand. But the archives are freely investigatable.
Sure.
So if I just tell them what I'm looking for, about when I'm looking for it... I mean, there's also services that you can pay to do this, but that might take some time.
Chicago is a town of many services in the 20s.
True.
So what specific services are you going to have them do for you?
Well, there are literally agencies that will collate information from newspapers. They will literally do the groundwork for you. You can actually pay them to do this.
So you're like subcontracting your investigative work?
I could do that, but first I want to try and do it myself, because I don't really feel like explaining the whole thing to anyone.
Okay, well, why don't you tell me what exactly you're looking for?
Well, I'm looking for an obituary for one Augustus Larkin.
Okay, to have shown up in some sort of worldwide press or Chicago press or New York press?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a note. I mean, I saw the article that Mr. Doyle had, and the fact that it was in the paper means that if something happened to him, that might also be in the paper.
Yeah, it might, absolutely. Okay, so I think this is still probably going to land on a library use roll.
Yep.
Just because of the type of investigating work you're doing.
Yep.
So yeah, go ahead and give me a roll.
All right, give me 1 second here. So I make a brief note in my...
It's your wonderful player journal.
That no one can read. 95.
Okay.
Time to spend some money, I guess. Yeah, I spend my day. Or I can push it.
You could push that roll, but before you push it, you would have to tell me how you were planning on pushing it. Are you going to stay up for the rest of the day? Or are you going to attempt to maybe utilize an external service in hopes of pushing the roll that way? Or you think of something else?
You know...
Not till you tell me.
I am a subscriber to the National Geographic.
You are a longtime subscriber to National Geographic.
Yes, it's been a hobby of mine for several years now. I'm certain that there are, as a matter of fact, in the last month's issue, in the current month's issue, because it's the 31st of March, there is an article about a expedition through Mexico.
Imagine that.
So I might go back and peruse my old issues and see if there's anything about Peruvian excavations.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe there's something. I don't know. No, 93. That's not going to do it. Yeah.
You were on the high side for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, you search for probably an hour or two amongst the newspaper services and then also double up with your own National Geographic, and you find no listing for an obituary for Augustus Larkin.
Okay, so there's no obituary, there's no articles mentioning his name.
Nope.
Nope. And that's... yeah.
No, you find actually... Yeah, you find no mention of him at all. None whatsoever.
Alright, so I'm spending my day fruitlessly searching.
That for the moment, yes. Mr. Doyle, your Saturday morning consists of...
Well, I'm going to get up, and I am going to go through my apartment looking for any kind of physical evidence that I may have from Peru.
Are you now?
Yeah. I assume it's here or it's in the office, and I don't want to go to the office at the moment.
Can't imagine why. No, maybe the bullet holes, right? Why don't you make a spot hidden roll? I'm going to give you an advantage die because it's your apartment. And kind of a bit of a home ground bonus, I think, is reasonable.
That's fair.
You know your place better than most places.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I make a hard success.
Okay. Hard success, wonderful. So, you have many of the trappings of, I don't want to say a home office, but lots of paperwork that you normally would keep at the office sometimes comes home with you. And you don't really maintain maybe the most organized stack of papers at home. So you go through one stack and a second. And probably by about 9:30 or 10:30 in the morning, you realize you've gone through and sorted about 6 different stacks of folders, evidence, all sorts of stuff. And it's at that point, when you get down to that 6th stack, you find a folder amongst kind of the back corner of everything you have investigated at this desk. You find a hospital bill. And that hospital bill seems to come from Los Angeles. And this hospital bill details a 2-week stint that you spent in a Los Angeles hospital. Paid in full. And it includes your release form from the hospital.
Okay.
Signed by you. in your hand. And the strangest part about it is the person attending you, or you were to be released into their assistance, or not their custody per se, but at least the first name of that does appear to be, starts with a J. And you read through this kind of squiggle of a name, but it is definitely Jesse is the first part of that name.
Damn it. Can I make a first initial last name?
You could stare at it for a bit. The penmanship is not, how should we say, the greatest. It's almost as if the person has a doctorate in handwriting. No offense, doctor.
Oh, that's totally understandable. We're terrible.
But yes, it does seem like they do have quite a wild hand. But the folder has some information in it, at least a date, time, looks like it was a few years ago. And furthermore, it looks like you racked up quite the hospital bill.
Oh, nice.
Including a week of an attendant psychiatrist. You were treated for shell shock, which is incidentally what they would have called it back then.
Right.
And it does note here that, on the paperwork here, that the doctors noted that you talked about the war.
What is the date of the release?
It looks like it's about mid-March,
Okay.
1921. Which, for the most part, does link up with your current notes. It looks like the first initial of Jesse's last name starts with an H.
H. Ah, we have something. And not much.
It's an
You
H.
have several new papers to work through. Maybe Miss O'Shea's knowledge of writing, or even Stassi's for that matter, given the fact that she's a journalist. She might be able to help you discern a bit of handwriting.
Yeah. I'll grab the folder. I'll head over to the doctor's office.
Okay.
I mean, plus the doctor is used to reading scrolls also.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, make scrolls more than reason.
Doctor, would Lily normally come in on Saturday?
Probably not.
Okay.
I probably just have her Monday through Friday.
Sure. So you have the morning to yourself. You have the morning to yourself because Stasi is still asleep, for the most part. It could be due to a bit of the alcohol that was imbibed last night, but she is sleeping soundly still. It's about 9:30 or so, and you've woken up and
Put her around the office, taking care of some paperwork that has gotten to be a bit out of hand over the last couple of days of me concentrating on other things.
yeah, you do regular office type work.
Prescriptions and stuff.
Mrs. Johnson from down the street does come by for her blood pressure medication. It's a regular Saturday stop that she makes. She doesn't visit you for very long. You do a really quick just read of her heart rate, make sure she has what she needs. She gives you a warm apple pie.
Oh, wunderbar. Mrs. Johansson?
Yeah.
Mrs. Johansson, you are wonderful. Wunderbar. And your blood pressure is wonderful. You're as healthy as, what do they say, a horse?
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Although you do not look like one, my dear, you are as healthy as one. So, go about your day, and I will see you next Saturday.
She walks out, shuts the door. It's the door shutting downstairs, Stasi, that kind of not shocks you awake, but does kind of makes you turn over a little bit, and then eventually you start coming to. And you smell coffee from downstairs.
That smells good. That smells very good. Oh, God.
Greet her with pour her a cup of coffee and cut out 2 slices of pie and put them on plates. I'm sure I have some sort of plate.
Oh, yeah.
In here.
I mean, you've got...
Yeah. I mean, if nothing upstairs, I've got plates, but yeah. So I'm waiting for her to get downstairs with coffee and pie.
Yeah, no, you are prepared. Mm-hmm. And it's at that point where a person darkens your door. And that would be Mr. Doyle.
Mr. Doyle, good morning.
Morning.
Pie.
I rouse
Absolutely.
myself.
It's fresh. Please, have a slice. There's coffee.
I found this folder of paperwork. There is a hospital discharge notice from Los Angeles.
You hear, Miss Nancy, you hear Doyle talking downstairs.
Hospital paperwork. Now.
You smell something else.
Eyeball.
Right.
But,
It smells sweet. Can't tell if it's a pastry or something. There's something downstairs. You realize you haven't eaten in like 12 hours.
Whatever it is going to be delicious.
You come downstairs after kind of putting yourself together a bit, and you see the coffee. You see your compatriots there.
That is, yes.
coffee for you and pie. Sank Miss Johansson down the street under her normally high blood pressure.
Gift from the gods.
Well, if we keep eating this pie, I don't know how much of a gift it would be. There's a reason why her blood pressure is so high.
Speak for yourself. I dig in.
Yeah, it's extremely satisfying. It's a home-baked pie. And the coffee is fresh, and you're pretty hungry.
Oh, that was worth waking up for.
And Mr. Doyle seems to have brought some more papers.
Good morning.
Morning.
Still a bit early.
I'm going to look over those medical records that he handed me. Is
Yep.
there anything with my trained eye that pops out?
Yeah, absolutely. It seems that they gave Mr. Doyle, at one point, they gave him a pretty serious dose of painkillers.
Anything else? Electroconvulsive therapy? Anything?
There is a note from the psychiatrist that worked with him that they did some sort of accelerated electro memory. There's a bit of
Cooked.
just kind of a jumble of words there,
Cool.
Synergy.
which you're fairly certain don't really mean much other than they may have done some sort of electroshock or they may have zapped him back awake.
We used electricity like you would make a sandwich with a bat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Doyle, it looks like you went through quite a bit, including just a bit.
So, they fried my brain.
If what I'm reading is true, then yes, a little.
What did you find?
Hand her the medical records.
Looks like discharge papers from a hospital that he stayed at in 1921, about mid-March in Los Angeles.
At least we know which hospital.
Have you contacted them?
Not yet.
You should contact them.
Oh, Doctor, you would have seen the person that the hospital released Mr. Doyle to was a man named Jesse, and you can see that there is a scrawled last name there.
Is that?
Can I decipher? Was there anything I could use to...
Yeah, why don't you roll medicine?
I was going to say.
If anybody can read it.
It seems more fitting that he uses medicine. That's an H.
It looks like an H. Yeah, 53 under 75.
Hughes.
Hughes. His last
Hughes.
name is
Hughes! Excellent.
Jesse Hughes.
The three of you roll power.
Yeah.
Hey, not there.
Extreme success. 6 under 13.
Wonderful.
Almost an extreme success.
It's okay.
Nope.
That's okay.
I'm still hungover.
You are, but you're along for the ride, my dear. The three of you, when you say Jesse Hughes' name, you hear yourself calling his name. Jesse! Jesse, you hear it echo around you because you're in this tunnel all of a sudden. And you hear him calling back to you, I'll be there in a sec, Doc, just hang in there. And you hear gunfire and all sorts of just terrifying noises that are coming from his side of the tunnel. You're in a very long, dark, and dingy tunnel, much like what you'd seen before they put the gold inlay on the crack. You're not at that portion where the pool of ick and
nastiness.
Yes, and maggots were. Okay. You're not there just yet. And Jesse comes running around the corner, pistol in hand, and he says, I didn't want to have to do it, but I think I scared Larkin off. He's been part of this thing the whole time. He suckered us into it. Both you and Mr. Doyle get that same vision. Miss Dowsey, your vision is just a little different. You're riding on Jesse's shoulder.
Okay.
And you see him, his revolver out towards this character, Larkin, in your memory. And Larkin's face has twisted and changed. His eyes have gone a complete and deep shade of jet black in the torchlight that Jesse has them both under. And you hear this almost resonant and alien voice come out of Larkin's mouth. And he says, "This is only the beginning. This is only the beginning." And Jesse, his face still beaded with sweat, with the gun trained on Larkin, says, "Not on my watch, it's not." And you hear 2 shots. I say here because when he pulls the trigger, the blast from the barrel itself blinds your vision. Mm-hmm. And then you pick back up along for the ride when he returns to both the doctor and Mr. Doyle. 3 of you snap out of it. For you too, Mr. Doyle and Dr. Tottenbach, that vision is no longer just a repressed memory. It's a solid, functional, factual memory you now remember.
And we have a name.
Yes.
And we know not to trust Larkin.
I get on the phone.
Okay.
Are you okay, Stasi?
I try to get a hold of New York.
I dial 911.
911, come on,
Apparently he's
man.
not a good man anyway.
Larkin's after me.
Larkin is dead.
That's a completely different story of somebody else is telling right now. You call L.A.?
No, New York.
New York. Okay. Where in New York are you calling?
Well, I'm going to try to get a hold of a Jesse Hughes in New York.
Okay.
I know he's from New York.
You ring New York. They tell you that there are multiple Hughes. There are at least 6 that are named Jesse or James. You're going to have to be a little bit more specific.
Well, there's at least 6 named Jesse, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, give me the first one on the list.
Okay. The Chicago operator tells you that they'll call you back at this number when they connect the first call, because it is long distance.
Right. I will then call LA, the hospital.
Okay, you get on with the Chicago operator who tells you that they'll connect your long distance call.
Right.
You get a lot of the same stuff, and that's the reason why that is because that's how long distance phone calls are made now.
Yeah.
They have to literally sometimes physically connect the lines before you can get connected out there. Yeah. The longer the distance, the harder it is to connect.
I'm just expecting calls back.
You are now. Have some pie.
And coffee.
Pie and coffee, pie and coffee. The pie is actually pretty good.
Yeah, there's a reason why Miss Johansson's blood pressure is up. She uses a pound of butter in everything. I mean, everything.
You definitely don't need any sugar for your coffee this morning.
Oh. It's quite good.
Yeah.
It should be. She never pays her bills. This is how she pays.
Miss O'Shea, you've awoken. It's roughly speaking about 10:30 or so.
Okay.
You have a show later tonight. You don't go on stage for several hours. But it's always good to kind of get through and work through some stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab some breakfast and pull out my journals again.
Mm-hmm.
and figure out from what time to what time are my notes missing so I can judge how long maybe I was gone. Maybe pull out all of them to see if there's one that it doesn't belong.
So go ahead and give me a spot hidden roll. And given that it's your own building, I'm going to give you an advantage die. And keen listeners will remember that the last time Miss O'Shea made this roll, she failed this roll. Mm-hmm. So go ahead. Not that I'm trying to forebode anything, but just...
Oh, advantage die. That's another one, right?
Yes, it is. One of the tens died. You take the lowest tens.
Okay. That would be 57, and I have a 38. So no, I failed again.
Would you care to push this roll?
Yes.
Okay. In which way are you pushing this roll? How are you pushing this roll? So you have to give me a credible reason as to why.
Because I'm incredibly frustrated that I remember this. Okay. He's got maps. He's at least got a gram. He's got, an article.
Not a Billy Graham, mind you, an actual telegram.
Yeah, a telegram. He's got an article.
I never did look at it.
I can't find anything, and I don't think it's like me to not have anything. Nothing secretly hidden. Nothing, no
So you notes. Are going to just flat out, from stem to stern, go through this stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and reroll.
No.
Even with advantage.
Oh, I didn't roll that one. Sorry.
I was going to say, that's amazing.
No, but that one was even worse.
Holy moly.
I know, I can't.
All right.
So apparently I just do not want to see whatever it is.
Possibly. Perhaps your brain doesn't want you to see it.
Right.
The doctor could tell you all about that. You go through your journals. They are missing a pretty sizable chunk in that year. But what you do land on is not the information that you were looking for. In fact, it's actually the absence of that information, as was mentioned in a previous episode. And as you get down into the minutia, the page-by-page searching, you realize that one of your journals is missing, I don't know, a good 15 pages.
Oh, like they've been torn out?
Well, not torn. Like they've almost been dissected out of the journal. Like
okay.
The binding is cracked. And the pages, the actual physical paper pages, were surgically removed. Maybe even with a scalpel. Because the edges are so clean.
Okay. And what's the first date on the first page, and then what's the, roughly, and then roughly a date on the next page? You know what I'm saying? That it skips that time with the 15 pages missing?
It looks like the first journal page entry again is around April the 2nd. So there's a good, clear month, maybe plus, that's missing from it. And the journal entry is talking about you feeling relatively sleepy that day. You don't really remember what you were doing the previous weekend. You're looking forward to getting into some more of the books that your dad left you. And you kind of feel the same humdrum feelings you normally do when you're journaling and when you're writing in your diary. There's notes and stuff like that of things you were working on or things you're going to start working on. But there is a serious absence of what happened before that date.
Okay.
And there is an absence of you noting it.
Right.
So there's no reference of what happened before. No clear reference of what had happened before.
Like no reference of who got a hold of me, when I was taught, all that.
Well, you're a pretty constant journaler throughout the days and weeks. And if you had gone 2 to 3 weeks without doing it, you would notice that in your journal. You would have written something about it. Mm-hmm. But you didn't.
Then I'll just give up and throw my hands in the air and go bathe and get ready.
Okay. So, the three of you, Mr. Doyle, the doctor, and Stasi, what are you filling your afternoon with, if anything?
Catching up on my paperwork, honestly. I got a lot of stuff, and a doctor's office does not run itself, so...
That is very true.
So until they come to me with something else that's pertinent to what's going on, I'm just catching up so that, should needs be, I won't have as much to do in the future if they need me.
Makes sense. Mr. Doyle, you get your first call back.
Okay.
From Chicago. From the Chicago to New York branch. They tell you that they've connected, that the first two Jesse Hughes that they tried were not available. They're going to continue trying them, and then they'll call the number back as they go through the list.
Okay, thank you.
About a half an hour after that, you get a call back from Los Angeles General Hospital. Not the soap opera.
Doc.
You get a hospital call.
I get a hospital call. Okay.
Well, the hospital's on the phone
Yes.
with Doyle, and the moment he motions you forward.
What should we...
Well, if we are wanting to know about yours,
Well, we can ask about all the rest of us, too.
sure. What we will
Actually, you should probably talk to him. You're the doctor.
I take the phone.
Los Angeles General.
Good afternoon. This is Dr. Sigmund Tottenbach from Chicago.
Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
You look down at the clock and you're like, oh, right, because
Yeah,
they're in L.A.
because they're in LA, so it's, it's significant.
Still morning.
Yeah, significantly earlier there.
You have a patient. You have a patient.
I have a patient here. I give Jack Doyle, and I need I have a series of patients, case studies that I'm working on. If you don't mind me giving you a list of my various patients that I am going to need information on. I believe they were all treated in your hospital at one point or another.
All right. Go ahead and give me their names.
All right, it'll be one Jack Doyle, one Anastasia Edwina Fairchild, a Maeve O'Shea, and an Alexander Forsyth.
Oliver.
Oliver Forsyth.
Oliver. Okay. It might take me a little bit to get it all for you. Do you know about when they might have been here?
I give the rough...
March.
Yeah,
1921.
March-ish, 1921.
Okay, and do you know what they might have been admitted for?
They had returned from a South American trip and were ailing due to exposure to the elements, I believe, of something along those lines. It's part of the case study.
Okay.
I understand it will take a while. You feel free to call me back at this number.
Thank you, doctor. I appreciate it. I'll have
Pennsylvania
the
61135.
I will have them look into it immediately and get back in touch with you.
Absolutely.
They very pleasantly hang up.
Cool. I will call us back.
A couple minutes after that, you get another call back from your long distance New York calls. This Hughes.
Jesse?
Yes, I'm Jesse Hughes.
I'm Jack Doyle.
And what did you need, sir?
Oh, you don't recognize?
Now, have we met?
I'm looking for Jesse Hughes that I know lives in New York, and I was hoping you would be him, but...
Yeah, seems to be a couple of us, so I hear. I've gotten a couple calls from other folks looking for Jesse Hughes, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah, must have been a couple weeks ago.
Interesting. Did you happen to know the other people's names?
They never said.
All right, well, I thank you. You don't have any relations, other Jessies in your family out there, do you?
Yeah, my father's name is Jesse. But, I mean, no disrespect, but he doesn't hear too well.
Oh, well.
And I don't even think he has a phone.
A couple years ago, did Jesse go out to take a trip south? You know of?
No. He's
Okay.
he's not one for travel.
All right. Well, thank you for anyhow.
No problem. He hangs up the phone. The operator comes back about 5 minutes later or so and says that the fifth and final one, they're not able to connect.
All right. Well, thank you for all your trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did talk to one of the Jessies, and he said that somebody else had been looking for Jesse Hughes, too, a couple weeks ago.
This is most disconcerting.
I mean, it could just be a coincidence.
Could be. Nothing else has been so far.
Right.
I'm starting to believe that coincidence is for people who haven't seen enough of the photo. Mr. Doyle.
Miss Tazi, how are you spending the balance of your morning? Just recuperating from yesterday and coffee and pie aplenty?
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds like a very good plan. Though after they complete with the phone call, and I've had probably my third cup of coffee and second piece of pie. Because, stress eating.
That's right.
Mr. Doyle, have you heard anything from your contact?
I was just about to go do it. Go take care of that. There you go.
We may need to bring her here.
Well, give me your address and I will swing by your place and see if she's there. Is there anything I can bring to make sure if she's there that
Coin. Did any of your visions include a gold coin?
No?
You saw gold, Doctor, the inlay, but not a coin.
I saw plenty of gold, no coins. Lots of gold.
The last time I spoke with her, she mentioned that she had a gold coin. Peruvian. She was very specific about that. And somehow knew that I had been in Peru before any of us knew we had been there.
Perhaps we should get this coin.
Perhaps you should talk to her. Mary. Write a note to her and I will take it with if she's there.
Would you like some company, Mr. Doyle?
No, why don't you stay here in case the hospital calls?
Here.
Fantastic.
My address. And I jotted down on a piece of paper.
Sure.
Rip it off, hand it to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
She should be there soon. Why would she know that? I've never told her. I didn't even think about it.
Well, maybe you did tell her.
Maybe you told her before you forgot, like we all forgot. Maybe you've known her for longer than you thought, too.
My brain hurts just trying to wrap itself around these knots.
Just stay here with the doctor.
Indeed.
Take your gun, Mr. Doyle.
I always do.
You take a drive to the Chicago University-wide boulevards, the faculty housing.
While I'm here.
And you stop into the house. You see it looks like it's a relatively sizable home, but it looks like it's split between a couple of different addresses. There must be an upper and a lower here. Knock on the door or ring the doorbell, which one?
Knock on the door.
Okay. You see a pretty vibrant, young, blonde woman come to the door. Can I help you?
Mary?
Yes. Do we know each other?
I'm friends with your roommate, Stasi.
Oh, is she okay?
She's a little shaken up.
Okay.
Apparently something's happened, and she's a little worried about your safety.
I see. Well, do you know where she's gone?
Yes, she's at a mutual friend of ours, a Dr. Talkbach. Here, let me give you the address.
Now everybody's going to have it.
That's right. Or and the phone number so you can call if you want. I think she would like you to go see her. Obviously, I'm not going to escort you myself. That'd be a little,
I've just returned from California. I've got a ton of unpacking to do, but I absolutely want to see her. I want to make sure she's okay.
Yeah, give her a call as soon as you get a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Right away.
I will. Thank you, Mr. Doyle.
Thank you.
She waits until you leave and then shuts the door.
And calls the police.
Go ahead and give me a spot hidden roll.
Please make it. Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is a real nice neighborhood.
It's hard.
Like I said, wide streets, big oak trees. There's a rather sizable college campus nearby. That said, across the way and about 3 houses down, there's a gentleman in a, not worker's outfit, but somebody who doesn't look like they necessarily wear a suit every day, and a fedora hat, who's just hanging out enjoying the late March weather, which as of late hasn't been too friendly. You notice that. Because you're a fairly perceptive fellow.
Right.
Almost like you do this for a living.
Almost. All right. So I will start walking
Okay.
that general direction.
Sure.
Not too fast, as if I was just walking.
Yeah. Are you going to try to walk past him, or walk on the opposite side of the street, or...
I'm going to walk, well, when I get close, I'm basically going to walk right up to him.
Okay.
Can I help you, Mac?
Just enjoying the weather.
Yeah, right.
This guy's older. He's probably in his mid to late 40s. He looks definitely like he's a guy that works with his hands. He's got salt and pepper temples at this point. You can see that his hair under his fedora hat is a bit slicked from some sort of hair care product. You got a problem?
Well, you don't exactly fit in around here, and a lot of young ladies live in this area.
What are you, the fashion police?
Maybe I am.
Yeah? Why don't you show me a badge? Do you have a badge on?
I don't have a badge on. I do have a gun on. How about that?
He unbuttons his coat and kicks the left side of it back, and you see a clear pistol. Looks like we're in the same club.
Ah, I like that. Why don't you blow?
Why don't you make me?
Oh, that's how it's going to be, huh?
I get just as much right of this boulevard as you do.
Play some chin music on this dude.
Just cold cocking right now.
Ring a ding chin music.
I should have gotten my brass knuckles out beforehand.
Exactly. What, you don't keep them in your pocket like I do?
Well, you keep half of the German army in your pocket.
That's true. The entire Luftwaffe is internally in your pocket.
You got like 15 guns in your trunk.
The big guns of Navarone?
What we don't realize is that he's got the Winchester Impala when he opens his trunk.
Nice.
Claire.
All right. So what's your name, pal?
It sure isn't pal, friend.
No. It's not friend, buddy.
The name's Herman.
Herman, huh?
Yep. You know somebody that lives at that house?
Yeah, I know somebody lives in that house.
Yeah, it's funny, so do I.
Yeah, I thought so.
She lied to you too?
Let me show you where you want to go.
Yeah.
My ass
Right
kicked.
down that way.
He's going to Yeat Street.
Yeat Street.
Catching the 815 to Yeat Street.
You rear back and give him a good swing.
Yep. Gonna play some chin music.
Play some chin music.
Some ring-a-ding chin music.
All right. Ooh. I'd like to know what you rolled, sir.
I rolled a 29 under 75.
Well, you did exceed the difference of your 2 skill rolls. You rolled a 15, but you got him. So go ahead and give me some unarmed damage.
D3 plus size bonus, I believe?
Yeah, it's D3 plus size bonus. I don't know if you don't have a size
Damage
bonus.
bonus.
Simply a D3.
Oh, so the brass knuckles only add a +1.
Yeah, still, it's a +1.
Right. Hey, 3.
Nice.
Hey.
Yeah. You rock him upside the head. He seems a bit stunned for a second and then is going to join in the fray as well.
This is fun.
Oh, that's fun.
So if you care to go ahead and dodge out of the way or attempt to...
Where are the 5Ds?
He's throwing his dice on the floor first.
You are not allowed to throw your dice on the floor.
I'm not allowed, or I shouldn't do that.
Yes.
Yes.
So would a block be a fighting brawl, or would it be a dodge still?
So a block is probably going to be... They'd probably roll a block if we're talking about... It'd be a maneuver if you're trying to, like, fight back specifically. But if you're just trying to parry, then it's probably more of a dodge roll.
Okay.
When he goes like this.
So that's 24 under 60.
Okay. Yeah, you also are going to get punched, sir.
Oh, you son of a...
So that's...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's 3 hit points worth of damage to you, sir. You crack him a good one, and he finds his footing, and Herman punches you directly in the gut. And when he does, you feel the air push out from your lungs. And there's now a street fight.
Yeah. Street fight. Warriors.
Street Fighters.
Come on and play.
Okay, that is a 35 under 75.
Yeah, that's definitely going to hit him.
Nice.
He is not able to get out of his way.
I just give him 1. I just graze him.
You hit him again. It's at this point where you hear a voice from somewhere behind you that says, "Hey, what the hell's going on?" You hit him again, and he staggers back a second and kind of covers up the blood that's on his lip. And he looks beyond you to the house behind you. And he is going to attempt anyway to extricate himself from the scene. He is fleeing is an improper term for what he's doing, but he's basically going to back off.
All right. That's all I wanted to do anyhow.
And there's a owner of a house behind you that's barking about something. Get out of here with that. This is a respectable neighborhood. Herman goes one way, and you watch him go down to the end of the block and take a left and head away from the college.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, just taking out the trash.
Beat it, Cody, or call the cops.
Yeah.
And you're heading back to the doctor's office?
No, actually, I wanted to go to the into the university.
Okay.
It's the archaeological department.
I'll get back to you in a second. Doctor, you get a call from the Los Angeles General Hospital.
Guten Tag. Dr. Sigmund Tannenbach.
This is Los Angeles General Hospital calling for a Dr. Tannenbach.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yes.
I have some records here you called about an hour or so ago.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm doing a case study.
It looks like all the folks in question that you have on your list there, or that you gave us on the phone, looks like they were all here around the same time. It looks like they were dealing with exhaustion.
Any abnormalities other than that?
There were some basic cuts and scrapes. It looks like Mr. Doyle suffered some sort of wound on his back.
Back wound. Does it say anything further on what that is?
The person who came to drop them off, who later picked them and sign them back out. This Hughes. It looks like the doctor's note here, the attending physician's note, was that the script came by some sort of animal that they dealt with.
I see. And any other mentionables, abnormalities, anything?
Well, it looks like most of them were in and out of consciousness. There was a Miss O'Shea and Mr. Forsyth seemed to have hysteria.
That does check out with what I am seeing here. Indeed. I was wondering if you could possibly send to me copies of those.
Yeah, it'll take a few weeks, but yeah, we can get you copies.
Absolutely.
You fax them?
No.
Well, it's
Yeah,
that
fax
old,
them.
fax machines. You're like, what, they're like 100 years old?
Best you're going to get is a mimeograph, right?
I was actually...
Ka-chung, ka-chung.
I'm actually just looking up when the mimeograph was invented.
Yeah, no, it's okay. They'll send you copies of them.
Okay.
They'll send you
Purple
copies.
ink all over your fingers.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your aid. You have been most
Tie off
helpful.
that fluid.
Yep.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Mr. Doyle, you hit the university library. What specifically are you looking for there?
I'm looking for the archaeological department.
Okay.
I don't know if there's going to be anybody in there. It's Saturday.
Yeah, actually, it looks like half the department is still returning from a trip, and at least the heads of it are anyway, given that it was spring break recently. That said, though, there are a couple of attending students, but you don't find any professors or anybody who probably knows anything outside of basic archaeology.
Is there any way that I could, like, I don't know, leave my card in the,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are offices. There are people who attend the professors and...
Or I'll go to some of those offices. I'll leave my card out. I'll write the name Augustus Larkin on the back and say, could you give this to the professor so-and-so? I have questions if he knows about the individual on the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, for the balance of the day then, as it cools into night, the doctor's office gets another call. This is probably a couple of hours later. There's a young lady on the phone who seems concerned, but has a very, very bright voice. She introduces herself to you as Mary, a friend of Stasi's, and she's hoping to speak with her.
One moment. Stasi, there's a Mary on the phone?
Yes. Mary, are you okay?
I am all right. Are you okay? Your friend Mr. Doyle came over earlier?
Yes.
Well, it seems he, at least by the look of it, it seems he met, I heard from the neighbors he got in some sort of fight with some guy across the street.
Mary, I know you just got home, darling, but you need to come to me. You need to get out of there. Just gather a few things, pack a bag, and come to me. Please.
Okay.
You're not safe there.
Why?
I can explain it when you get here. I will tell you everything, but you need to come here. You need to get out of there first. I can have someone come get you. Make sure that you get here okay.
This just doesn't make any sense. I mean, we've lived here for years.
Mary, please, if you love me, trust me on this. Please. I will send someone to come get you. Please.
Mr. Doyle left this doctor's office's address. I'll get a car and I'll stop over. And then I'm going to need you to explain to me what's going on.
I will. I will tell you everything. You just need to get here. Please.
All right.
Just be careful. Don't listen to anybody. Don't do anything. Just get here.
All right. I'll be right there. She hangs up.
Hang up the phone.
About 20 minutes later or so, the office gets a knock at the door. It's a younger, blonde woman.
Mary,
Yes.
please come inside. She's upstairs.
Steps in, looks around for a second, and then walks upstairs. We hear another set of ladies' shoes on the stairs.
I come down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You come down. You see Mary standing there in the middle of the office.
I run up to her and just embrace her. Give her.
She gives you a return embrace. She's obviously very worried.
Oh, darling.
I am here. And now we are going to sit down. And you are going to tell me what is going on.
Yes. 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 Come, sit. Mary, this is Dr. Takenbach.
Yes, I saw the sign.
It's couldn't talk. May I get you a cup of coffee, Mary?
No, I have all the stimulant I need.
I see. I will be in the other room if you ladies need it.
Actually, Doctor, I thought we could start with the coin.
What coin?
The coin you told me about. The coin when we spoke last on the phone? You said there was a coin?
When we spoke last on the phone, just now, you
No,
were
not
panicked
this
to
one.
have me come here.
No, the one before that. We talked about there was a coin.
Yes.
It will all be clear. I promise. Just...
She digs in her purse. And she produces a gold coin.
A fancy trick.
This is the coin. She holds it up. It's probably a little, about the size of a $50. It is definitely reflective. It's gold. It's got some inscriptions on it in a...
May I?
Yeah. He hands it to you. I had mentioned to you on the phone that... Definitely gold. That... I'd mentioned to you on the phone that this coin reminded me of the one that you told me about that you picked up in Peru. And then you didn't know what I was talking about. And it was just very strange because I remembered you going to Peru for some journalistic escapade. You did some sort of report. You spent time afterwards collating your thoughts. You told me that you'd sent the story and all this other stuff. And then I never read it, but I just assumed that everything went well, and I had my own studies.
Mary, when did I go to Peru?
It was a couple of years ago.
How long was I gone?
A month or so.
Did you ever receive any calls or letters from me or possibly a hospital in Los Angeles?
You called me when you got to the hotel. That's how I knew you were here. You were there.
Do you remember the name of the hotel?
She seems to kind of screw up her features a little bit as if she's trying to remember.
As the doctor and I are examining the coin.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. It seems to me it started with a C. Is it Cordova?
Cordano?
The Overlook.
Maybe. But I don't understand what this has to do with me coming here to talk to you.
I will explain, my darling. I promise. I need the information before I impart any. I need to know that it comes from you.
You need to know what comes from me.
Something happened in Peru.
Cordano. That was the hotel bar you called me from.
And you said I was gone a month?
A month and a half, something like that.
And I came back on my own.
No, you had a friend drop you off.
Jesse?
Yeah, Hughes. Jesse Hughes. It's a nice gentleman, dropped you off there at the curb. I remember he even brought your bags up.
Did I seem... I don't know, was I acting odd? Did I...
You were tired. I just assumed it was from all the travel. Doctor, what is going on?
It has recently come to our attention, mine, Miss Stasi, Miss Fairchild here, as well as the rest of us, that we have known each other for significantly longer than we thought, and that we have all previously been to South America, specifically Peru, and none of us remember it.
How... You said I talked to you about it. When did I talk to you about it?
When you got back.
And...
You said that you'd gone to Peru, that you'd written a story about it, that you'd filed it to the paper, and that you were just going to wait to hear back until they published it.
Did you ever see it? Did it ever come out in print?
No, but you never talked about it after that. And I got busy. We were deep in study. We were doing excavations.
Mary, something happened in Peru. I don't remember almost any of it. I have no recollection except for just recently a few images, that flashes of memory or something. But the people that the doctor here, several others, we all were there together, and yet none of us remember it. We're trying to piece it together. And the gentleman that Mr. Doyle, who was with me in Peru, I assume, from everything we know, the gentleman that Mr. Doyle got into an altercation with, I don't know. I don't know if he's involved in a part of this, but he is dangerous, and you need to protect yourself. I need to protect you.
What do you mean, protect myself? What does that mean?
He will hurt you to get to me.
Who is he?
It's a long story, but I need to know everything that I told you. Anything that you can remember that I told you about Peru right now.
You told me that you would tell me everything.
And you said I had a coin? Or did you see it? Did I show it to you?
Yeah.
What did I do with it?
I assumed it was in your room somewhere with your effects in the trunk somewhere, or
The trunk.
in
The trunk.
all sorts of places it could have been.
Okay.
She seems to be getting more exasperated as the conversation goes on.
I know this is confusing, darling. I know it is. I try finding out that something you did that happened to you that is now gone. Just not there. I'm just...
Let's go back to the house.
No, we can't. We cannot go back.
What?
Not right. He'll be there. He'll be there waiting. You could...
Who is he? Who is this he? And are you telling me that I can't go back to my house?
It's not safe. It's not safe.
Doctor, I have to be able to go back home.
She is concerned for your safety, obviously. And this gentleman... Doyle came back, right?
Not yet.
He has not yet.
Okay. We have sent one of our compatriots, the gentleman you met earlier, Mr. Doyle.
Yeah, with the scar?
To do some surveillance, if you will. Now, I don't know who this man is that she is concerned about, but it has her in such a state that she slept here last night so that he would not find her. Upstairs, on my couch.
Yeah, she does give you a very strange look.
I slept down here. I look like it.
How you doing? You look like Beetlejuice after a bender.
Hair all on the side, eyes all circles.
Well, will your friend, Mr. Doyle, be back anytime soon?
Hopefully quite soon.
All right.
You are welcome to stay.
I'm willing to stay here until he gets back and says the house is safe. But I have been dreaming about that bed for 2 weeks, and I am sleeping in it tonight.
I'm sure that if it comes down to brass tacks, we can figure out a way for you to sleep without a problem in your own home.
Miss O'Shea, it gets on to middle of the afternoon to the evening. Your search, however important, has come up fruitless yet again. But it is time for you to head to the location and then prepare to do your work.
Yeah. Davidson's.
Yes, the Davidson's. So Davidson's isn't in the Levee district like the Kiss is, so it's not in that kind of south downtown area. It's actually a club that's a bit on the outskirts. So the nice part about this club that's on the outskirts is they tend to be a little bit more freer as far as who comes and goes, but the business seems a lot more lively because they're on the outskirts, so they don't have to worry so much about Johnny Law coming around. And if they do, it's maybe one patrolman, and he's probably already bought and paid for with enough booze that he's not going to bother anybody.
Okay.
It is vastly different than being on stage at the Kiss because there's not as much space. It's a much more, what would we call it, an intimate setting. But you get prepared as you always do to perform and go out and put a show on. So why don't you give me a perform roll, and we'll see how well your performance goes.
Oh, yeah. I got a 39, and I have a 60 in sing.
Okay, so honestly, the first couple of hours, you're not so much the headlining act as you're warming up the crowd for who will come out next. But your couple of hours that you spend with the crowd and the stage do pretty well. You get quite a buzz in the room, and you leave to men cheering and hooting, and even some ladies cheering for you, because obviously speakeasies and lounge and drinking establishments now are very much a equal part men and women and various others as well. So all told, it goes fairly well for you. The bar owner who's there, he's a man named Wayne. And Dwayne passes you, on top of your already predetermined amount that they were going to pay you, he passes you a $20 bill.
Ooh.
For your trouble.
Awesome.
So you've done very well. Mr. Doyle, you return later that evening to the doctor's office and now encounter the same woman that you saw earlier today.
Ma'am?
Along with Miss Stasi and the doctor.
So, Miss Fairchild, who's Herman?
You can see that Mr. Doyle has developed... actually, he hit you in the stomach.
Yeah, you can't see shit.
You can't see it, no, but yeah, when you take 3 hit points worth of damage to your stomach, you're probably a little, you're probably trying
Cradling the side of your
maybe just a little, maybe just
side of your torso.
Favoring a little bit,
You might favor it a little bit, yeah.
You saw him. He was there.
You could say I saw him.
What happened?
We just had a little talk.
That's not what my neighbors said.
It was an aggressive talk.
Yeah, well, Mr. Donahue across the street said the two of you were punching it out in his front lawn.
It was an aggressive talk.
Are you hurt?
Nothing.
I'm glad that it was not worse. He's known for worse.
Okay, who is Herman?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
I don't know what you'd think of me if I told you the truth.
Listen, Miss Fairchild, my line of work, when guys like that come around, there's only one of two reasons. Either he was somebody you're intimately attached to, or he was somebody you screwed over.
Depending what side of the story you would think of, Mr. Doyle. It could be both, it could be neither.
Well, I want to know who he is and why he's got you so spooked.
Because if he catches me, he'll kill me.
What? Kill you?
Well, more than likely, he might actually spare my life, but I'd see the inside of a sanitarium for the rest of my life, which would be worse than death. I would rather he'd kill me.
Okay, how do you know him?
He's my husband.
What? Your husband?
Well, technically, he's Agnes's husband.
Who's Agnes?
Girl I killed a long time ago, I thought. But it seems the dead don't stay dead, no matter how much you change. I did everything I could to make sure that she would never, ever be walking in this world again. And he still found me.
I don't know what to say.
I escaped hell, my darling. And I never look back. Because you don't look back into hell. I was rescued by the angels, and I did everything I could to stay away.
Does that include lying to me?
You don't escape the devil himself and expect to get away forever, I guess. He would have killed me otherwise. He just about did. Several times. I saw the inside of hospitals more often than I saw my own family. I hope my mother's okay. I hope he didn't touch her.
That's horrible.
I killed the girl he was married to. In every possible way that I could. I did everything. I gave up everything. Everything. My mother gave up everything to save me. Damn it. Damn it.
She comes over and embraces you.
He is not going to stop until he gets what he wants. And that's me. And he will go through everybody and anybody he has to get to me.
Well, I think that there has to be a lawyer or something we can go to.
No, they can't. They won't. He has every right to do exactly what he wants. If they could prove it. And he won't wait that long. You see, you can't go back. If he knows you're in the house, he will do whatever he needs to get to me. And that puts you at risk. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Well, you know what? He did. But he didn't think I'd be there. And I'll tell you what. I'll be damned if he's going to keep me from sleeping in that bed. And I'm going to call it there. So thank you for joining us for another compelling episode. Hopefully you enjoyed what you heard. And we will see you in the next week.